Hey there, welcome back to the Millennial Book Junkie. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the books that I'm going to be reading in September. And if you can tell from my lights in the back, I am totally in September vibe. To me, it has been Halloween since July 5th, and now finally we can immerse ourselves into all things cozy, all things creepy, all things Halloween, pumpkin spice, leaves, cozy sweaters. I can't wait. So I'm really excited that it is September, finally. The only downside to September is it getting dark earlier, or is that in October? It's probably in October, but it's coming, and that's the sad part. But anyway, we're in September, so let's talk about the books that I'm reading in September. Now, of course, I had to read things that are thrillers, always, but I just felt like I wanted to ease into all the thrillers that I've been buying lately, and I have been buying a lot, and I have not been reading them. And so now, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, to finally read. And so this month, am going to be reading 4 books. I'm going to be reading Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby as my number 1. This book I know that I have heard so much about. It's about 2 fathers who are essentially on a quest for revenge. Both of their sons were in love with each other, and then they ended up dead. And both of the fathers have a criminal past. So basically they get together and they're trying to find out what happened to their sons. And I get the feeling they don't have a lot in common except for their criminal past and the fact that their sons were in love with each other. So I don't know. I feel like maybe there's tension between them before going into it. I'm really excited. Any kind of quest for revenge, and I'm already curious what happened to their sons. And I'm just so excited. And I even bought this at my local bookstore. I think it's called Valleywell or Villagewell. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering the name. But essentially, when I bought this book, the woman was like, this is really good. This is really good. Like, she read it and she really liked it. So Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I cannot wait to read this book this month. And I will say, is it not the color of September? Does it not just scream September to you? I mean, it matches the background lights. Come on. The next book I'm reading this month is called Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I have heard a lot about this book too, being really creepy. It also has creepy pictures in it, which I thought was really cool because, nowadays books don't really have pictures in them. So this book is about a young woman who is a babysitter for this kid who suddenly starts drawing images of a woman being killed. And she is a recovering addict, and she essentially is trying to kind of wrap her head around what the heck is going on with this kid who's drawing pictures of a woman being killed. And it essentially goes from there. I think she's trying to figure out what happens, but also these figures that this kid is drawing, they become increasingly scarier and scarier as time goes on. So I'm curious to see what the heck happens. I've also just heard really good things about this book, and it seems really creepy, especially with the drawings being involved, and I really can't wait. I'm actually reading this one already. So it really got me. So anyway, this is the next book that I'm going to be reading in September, and it's going to give me all the spook vibes, I feel. Even the cover is kind of spooky, so I'm really excited. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is it's kind of a heavy book. I was reading it in bed, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know why it's so heavy. The pages are really thick, and maybe it's because of all the extra drawings. I don't know, but it's beautiful and it feels nice and it's thick, but it's a little heavy for a paperback, I would say. The next book I'm reading, which I haven't taken the sticker off yet, and it's really bothering me, but the next book I'm reading is The Quiet Tenant by Clemence Michelon. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but this is one of the books I picked up as part of my summer thriller book haul video, which I'll post a link to. But this one is about a man he's a serial killer, but he kind of lives a normal life. He's got a daughter, no one really knows he's a serial killer. His latest victim is chained up in his backyard shed, and he's had her back there for years. And he's kind of living this normal life, but apparently he's got to move. So now he's got to move all his things and his chained up girl to this new place where he's got to go. And that transition is going to be a little shaky, I would think, right? And so he's got to introduce this woman that he's basically keeping tortured and brainwashed to his daughter, because this move probably has to be seamless, I would think. So really interesting concept, kind of spooky. Really interested in reading this one. I've had it for a couple months and I just keep eyeing it in my bookshelf, and I'm like, I really want to read this one. It's called The Quiet Tenant. I also really love the front cover because it's like cabin and scary, and I just grabbed it immediately. I was gonna buy it just based on the cover, but turned out it had a good summary. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to read this book. The next book I'm reading in September is The Vacancy in Room 10 by Serafina Nova Glass. I just heard about this book from Haley Hughes, and she read it, I think, on her, she did a 24-hour readathon, and I was like hooked by the premise of this book. Essentially, it's about two women. It was told from the story of two women. They're both living in this motel turned apartment building. One of them is on the hunt to try and figure out what happened to her husband who died, and that was the last place that he was. And the other woman is like blackmailing a bunch of men who live in the motel turned apartment, and it's like her perspective, which I would assume she had something to do with this woman's husband's death. So it's like the two different perspectives, and these two women are basically you know, kind of on their own little paths, and I know they're going to cross because one of them is looking for her husband and the other one, I'm assuming, knows what happened to that husband. So I love it already. I have this one on audio, and it was an impulse get because I got it on Libby and I'm listening to it and I'm already addicted. So I'm really excited. So that's the fourth book I'm reading in September, and those are the 4 books I'm reading. If I have time, I will definitely start another and I'll share it with you in my wrap up. But so far, those are the 4 books that I'm reading, and I'm really, really excited. Now I have to know what books you're reading in September because it is spooky season, and give me all of your horror and thriller recommendations. All right, that's a wrap for this video. Like and subscribe if you like this content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.